our present state, hoping help will come from above. But even angels there made the same mistake. In love, in love, in love, in love.
In Roxy music, you see the triumph of artifice, because what they are about is that they're not about anything. Musically, they're incredible synthesis of a lot of different things, but I think that their vitality and their longevity will be quite limited due to the fact that the leader of the group is this fellow named Brian Ferry, who is possibly the most vacuous excuse for a superstar that has yet been presented to us. Now, you know, like I became a big Roxy music fan when they did Stranded, and after that it was my unfortunate experience to meet Mr. Ferry at a party where I want to go up and say, Brian Ferry, you're my hero, I love you, you know, a great record. This fellow, this man was so bland that he was standing there in this white tuxedo with a cigarette in his hand, you know, not saying anything. Somebody should have shoved him in a corner, shoved a martini in his hand and forgotten about him. And he doesn't care about rock and roll at all. The ascendance of these people is an indication of the level to which rock has sunk, because of its appearance and artifice. There is nothing, I believe, truly committed about either a Brian Ferry or a David Bowie. It's much more using of rock for their own ego aggrandizement rather than a belief in the music they are working with.
If you were going to perform your music on stage, people were sitting there looking at you for an hour and a half or whatever. It seemed to me that one should try and work something out which is reasonably interesting to look at. Presenting the music in a kind of fun way helps to attract a much wider audience. It is very much a 24-hour business. It means that you have to be totally dedicated to your kind of work. Like an actor on a stage, I suppose, when you're sort of doing a tour, you have to accept it. Instead of throwing yourself into one part, you have to throw yourself into lots of different parts. Because I try to write lots of different types of song with different kinds of mood, and I just try to throw myself. What I do, just kind of hurl myself into it, basically. So there isn't much time to really stop and think. You know, what am I doing this for?
Please don't ever let me down, for you know I'm not so sure. Do I have the speed to carry on? I'm putting you out of my mind alone. You're a flame that never fades. Jungle red's a deadly shade, but that's burning with fires to meet. Somewhere deep in my soul tonight.
As well as the stage presentation, there are also these other things, sort of packaging things. The packaging of your work, which in the business they call product. Things like album covers and posters and souvenir programs, which you can either totally ignore or take an interest in and try and raise the standard of them. There's a great tradition in advertising of using glamour girls for selling cars through to Coca-Cola. For the first album cover we did, I sort of had a pin-up girl on the cover, because I always thought that was a sort of a lethal way of selling any kind of product. And that worked incredibly well. Business can be artistic as well.
Who can sleep in this heat this night? what's in store. Love is the drug and I need to score. Showing up, hit and run. Boy meets girl where the beat goes on. Stitched up tight, can't shake free. Love is the drug, got a hook on me. Oh, catch that buzz. Love is the drug I'm thinking of. Oh, can't you see? Love is the drug for me. Park my car, stake my place in the singles bar. Face to face, toe to toe, heart to heart as we hit the floor. Lumber up, limbo down, the lost embrace, the stumble around. I say go, she say yes. Dim the lights, you can guess the rest. Oh, catch that buzz. Love is the drug.
We're all pretending here that we can't remember this one the first time round, but it's so good, of course we do. It's Dave Berry and The Crying.